Having a financial checkup is like a regular doctor's appointment. Everyone needs one to ensure a healthy life, especially later down the road. So today we discuss the Seasons of Planning checklist and what to-dos you should have on your list this fall and winter. Ainsley and I will break it all down right now on UBS Trending. Hi everyone and welcome to UBS Trending. I'm Amantia Mohedini filling in for Anthony. And I'm here today with my colleague Ainsley Carbone from CIO. Ainsley, good to see you. You know, today walking into the office, I saw my first Christmas coffee cup on the street and Christmas lights go up, which makes me think we're racing towards the end of the year. And therefore it's time to talk about your financial health checklist for the fall and winter. So maybe get us started. Ainsley, what is this and what's the purpose behind it?
So first of all, thank you for having me. The Seasons of Planning checklists are essentially a checklist to help you have your own financial health checkups. So regardless of how much wealth you have, it's always a great idea to have these routine financial health checkups because for the most part, we see many investors when it comes to their financial plan, they're focusing on investment strategy and investment performance. And while those can definitely help and they do contribute to the overall success of your financial plan, there are so many other aspects that matter. And so since there are so many aspects, it can be difficult not only to remember all of them, but it's also difficult to fit them in to one visit with your financial advisor. And so that's what the Seasons of Planning checklists are. It's 3 planning items that you can visit each quarter or each season, and it just makes it a little bit more digestible.
That's great. And I mean, look, I sit here often in your seat talking about investment strategies that help advance clients and investors' objectives, but that doesn't really mean very much in the absence of the broader picture of financial health. So I talked about Christmas. We are still technically in the fall. So tell me, what are some things on your fall and winter checklist?
So for fall, the first one would be open enrollment, and that's really because a lot of us who are employees are, at this point in time, able to elect new workplace benefits for the year ahead. It's a really short window, so we want to make sure everyone's doing that in time. The 2 other items that we have would be gift giving and philanthropy. So in other words, it would be wealth transfers that you want to make to your loved ones, or it's charitable giving to those organizations that you care about. Both of those 2 items do need to be completed by year end. And yes, we are getting up to year end. So those are 2 things, or 3 things, I guess, you want to keep in mind at before year end.
Before Christmas, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, definitely before the holidays, because most likely your advisor is probably going to be pretty busy with other people who are doing it last minute. But you also asked about winter. So for winter or the beginning of next year, what we like to focus on is budgeting, reviewing your spending, income tax planning, because tax season will arrive soon. And then we also like to talk a little bit about retirement income, which isn't relevant for everyone, but for those who are retired, it certainly will be relevant.
Yeah, of course, and I'll say I'll have to go back to the checklist with my advisor as well. So tell me, what are some of the challenges here of not doing this? Can you give us maybe an example or illustration?
Yes, definitely an example. So Amantia, let's say you and I were working together. Let's say I was your financial advisor and you came to me and you said, Ainsley, I want to invest $1,000, let's say each month for retirement, and I want to take on a lot of risk. If I wasn't maybe a great financial advisor, I'd just say, okay, I'm going to invest that for you. And while that might work out in the short term, over the long term, it probably won't be that reliable for you because let's say you run into a situation where you say, Ainsley, I have car troubles. I need extensive maintenance. This is going to cost me a lot. I don't have an emergency fund. I need to dip into my savings, into my investments. And so what happens is you're pulling out of your long-term investment portfolio. You may be missing out on growth, locking in long-term growth potential, or locking in otherwise temporary losses. And so what happens when we find that an investment strategy, or what happens when we are taking on too much risk in an investment strategy and we're not even considering other elements of the financial plan, what happens is someone can come into a situation where they have financial instability, they are stressed, and it can also mean missed opportunities.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, look, financial advisors are trained to think about these things, but it's important for every investor to also know what to ask for. So I appreciate you putting all of these things so clearly on a list. Now, what are some of the things that investors need to make sure to know and be aware of to address all of their financial plan needs?
So I'd say Hopefully, most of the information that you need will be in the financial checkups or the seasons of planning checkups. So each season, each quarter, if you like to think in quarters instead of seasons, you can come back to your financial advisor and ask for the seasons of planning checklist. You can go through those 3 items. I will just say each season we have 3 items. That doesn't mean that those are the 3 items you absolutely need to review for yourself, and it might not be all those that you need to review. So it's really important to make sure you're staying connected with your financial advisor, because they're going to know which items are most appropriate for you based on your own situation.
Sounds great. All right. Well, I look forward to another conversation, and I'll go home now and then call my own financial advisor with the checklist. And for everyone, that's all we have time for today. But for more information, please visit ubs.com/views. UBS Trending is, as always, on social media. Follow us on Instagram @UBS Trending for content that you won't find anywhere else. And you can also check out LinkedIn, Facebook, and X, formerly known as Twitter, for more. And as always, if you have any questions about your portfolio or financial plan, please speak with a financial advisor. Until next time, I'm Amantia Muhedini in Today for Anthony. Have a great day, and remember to keep on your eyes on what's trending.